Hey everybody, I'm Sam. Welcome back to my channel. Fun fact about me, even though I've been on BookTube previously, I've actually never participated in a readathon. So I decided that it was high time I remedied that situation, but instead of easing in, picking like one and, just doing that, I decided to just like go whole hog, and I'm doing 2 readathons back to back because I can, and because I enjoy a challenge. So the 2 readathons I'm going to be doing are the Dewey's 24-hour readathon, which is this Saturday, aka tomorrow, April 28th. And then I'm going to be participating in the Half-Halloween-A-Thon, which is being hosted by Megan and Sue over at the restricted section, which I can link their video about it below. The Half-Halloween-A-Thon, it starts on the 29th on Sunday, and it goes through a date I don't remember. I believe it's a full week, but it might be just under. I'll put the dates in the description box as well as linking their videos so you can see for yourself when it's going to be and chastise me later for not being a better booktuber and paying attention. The TBRs are... This video is going to be the TBRs for both of those readathons. So the first TBR I'm going to do is the one for the Dewey's 24-hour readathon, because that does start sooner and it will also be over sooner. And that one is pretty much what it sounds like. You read books for 24 hours. This one is set up so that everyone around the world starts reading at the same time, which I think is kind of cool. So it doesn't like start at midnight. It actually starts at 7 a.m. here, which is Central Standard Time. But there's a time zone converter on the website, which I will link the website and all the information down in the description box. So if you wanted to participate, you could like go and check what time it's supposed to be starting for you. And they do like challenges and blog posts and like reading sprints and kind of fun stuff throughout the day if you just check back on the website, and there's like a Twitter hashtag and all of that stuff. But you kind of get free reign to read whatever the fuck you want, which is kind of nice. You don't have to like do anything specific. My main goal for the Dewey's 24-hour readathon is to finish the book that I'm currently reading, which I do not know where I put the dust jacket for. It's somewhere in my house. It's still a bit hectic around here right now, but I would like to finish reading Flowers in the Attic by V.C. Andrews. I'm really liking this. It was kind of a slow burn for me. Like I started reading it and then I think I just wasn't feeling it at that time. So I put it down for a while, and then the other night I picked it up again and read like half of it in a night and went to bed way too late, as you sometimes do. It's not a terribly long book, so I do think that between like tonight before I go to bed and the readathon tomorrow, I will definitely be able to finish the other half of this book. I'm a pretty fast reader. Why do I never think of a place to put these after I'm done talking about them? On the floor. Great. Okay. And then my other thing is I would like to start and like get through at least a good chunk of one more novel during the readathon. And I've given myself 2 options just because I have no idea what vibes I'm going to be feeling. So I'm giving myself a kind of more like easy reading contemporary, which is How to Bake a Perfect Life by Barbara O'Neill. I actually borrowed this book from a friend of mine, and I would like to return it to her because she and I have a history of borrowing books from each other and then not returning them until like a decade later, and I would like to not do that again. I promised her I wouldn't, so might do that one. Or I've given myself a sci-fi option, which is The Edible Woman by Margaret Atwood. I talked about this in my sci-fi covers video that I did earlier this week. It's got this really cool, like, ridiculous cover with the refrigerator shaped like a lady. And I love Margaret Atwood, and the description of this sounds interesting. So I want to give her a go. Incidentally, that one would also help me toward my Read Harder challenge for this year, because it is a science fiction book by a female author with a female protagonist. If I need to break up the prose a little bit and I want to just kind of like read something else, or maybe as like a kind of a palate cleanser between books, because I do that sometimes, I will read something shorter. So I've given myself some poetry book options. So my first option for poetry is Howl and Other Poems by Allen Ginsberg. This is like the teeny tiniest little poetry book, but he was a beat poet. And this book was like really controversial when it came out, and I'm on a mission to like read all of the banned books. It's on the list, you know? And then my other options for poetry are by some like kick-ass ladies. And so the first one I've got is Dark Sparkler by Amber Tamblyn, which is a poetry book by, yes, Amber Tamblyn from the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants movies, but also she's like won awards for her poetry. It's about like celebrity women who like died too young, and like the art in this is really fucking cool. Look at this crazy shit. Like I've been meaning to read this for like a year and haven't gotten to it. So that is something I would like to do. And then my other poetry option is The Witch Doesn't Burn in This One by Amanda Lovelace, which is a follow-up to The Princess Saves Herself in This One, which I really, really enjoyed. I read it in February. Also, if I need to give my eyes an even bigger break from just like text in general, like these still have text in them, but I have given myself some comic and graphic novel options, which could also help me toward my Read Harder challenge. So that's a bonus. So the first option for that I have is Scott Pilgrim vs. the Universe by Brian Lee O'Malley, which is the 5th volume in the Scott Pilgrim series. This would fit a Read Harder prompt, which is to read a comic that was written and illustrated by the same person. And the next one I have is Paper Girls Volume 4, which is by Brian K. Vaughan, who wrote Why the Last Man and also Saga. Saga is probably the thing he's best known for. But Paper Girls is like a sci-fi time travel series that it takes place in like the late 80s. So it's like a 80s movie coming of age story meets science fiction badass nonsense, and the color work in it is really good, and I really like Brian K. Vaughan's writing style, so I've really enjoyed the first 3 volumes. But yeah, if you're into comics and you like coming of age stories or science fiction, or even if you don't like comics and you like those other 2 things, like that could be a good gateway comic for you. That's just a little side recommendation from me. And then the last comic option I have is volume 2 in what was my absolute favorite comic series that I started reading last year, and that is Dissenter by Jeff Lemire. I might not be pronouncing that correctly. I'm bad at that. And illustrations by Dustin Nguyen. This is a science fiction series about a little kid, like preteen robot. His name is Tim, and he was like designed to be a companion to humans, and then his family got like wiped out, and then he was like shut down at the time, and then he woke up like way later, realized his whole family was gone, and that the entire like universe had turned against artificial intelligence, and now he's like being hunted. And he's got a little robot dog, and like it's really emotionally and character driven, and I didn't necessarily expect it to be. And again, I highly recommend. This is absolutely my favorite new to me comic series from all of 2017, and I started quite a few last year. But those are the books I would like for sure to read for the 24-hour readathon. I know I'm not going to read all of them. Like I said, I just wanted to give myself some options. So ideally, I would like to read the rest of Flowers in the Attic, 1 more novel, and then maybe a comic and a poetry book. I think I can do that. 24 hours is a pretty long time. Like I said, I'll leave the information about this readathon down in the description box. It starts in the morning, so, you know, just come join in and have a fun time. And then the other readathon that's going to be starting on Sunday is Megan and Sue's readathon, which is the Half-Halloween-A-Thon. And this one is like a week long. Like I said, it could be 5 days, it could be a week. I honestly don't remember. What the fuck ever. I'll put it in the description. So this one has some prompts that you can read. There are 5 prompts, and 4 of them are like regarding the books that you're reading, and then the other one is just kind of like a fun thing to do for Half-Halloween. An acknowledgement of the Half-Halloween-A-Thon starting. I am wearing my skeleton earrings today, you probably noticed, and I am drinking out of my skull wine glass, which, by the way, is like a game of roulette every time I drink out of one of these because we have 4 of them and one of them leaks badly and I don't fucking remember which one it is. Whatever, it's fine. Such is life, right? So for Half-Halloween-A-Thon, because we're celebrating that we're halfway to Halloween, and who the fuck wouldn't want to celebrate that? The first challenge in their Half-Halloween-A-Thon is just kind of a fun one, and it's to review a book in costume, and I don't know what I'm gonna wear for my costume. I'm thinking I might dress up as Miss Frizzle because I have a sweet space dress to wear, but we'll see. We'll see where the wind blows me. The next challenge is to read a book that features a classic Halloween figure. Now, Dracula is one of my favorite horror novels of all time, and as you know, it features a vampire. But I don't want to reread Dracula just yet. I'll probably save that for actual Halloween time. But I am going to read this excellent looking graphic novel adaptation of Dracula, featuring this vampire. I'm like really vibing comics and graphic novels lately. I haven't read any this year, which is really unlike me. So I just need to like catch the fuck up, honestly. All right, second prompt is third challenge is to read a horror book that has been adapted into a movie and then watch the movie. I love comparing books to their film adaptations. I live for this shit because I love to criticize things and it's the easiest way to do it. So I'm going to be rereading, this one's a reread for me, Carrie by Stephen King, because I haven't read it in like a number of years and it's one of my favorite Stephen King books. And also there are multiple film adaptations and I can make kind of my pick of those. Next one is to read a book that involves murder. So this is going to be another comic one for me. And I'm going to be reading Lady Killer, Volume 2 by Joelle Jones and art by Michelle Madsen. This is, again, Volume 2 in a series that I started last year. This is about a like 60s housewife who is also an assassin for hire. The first volume I enjoyed, but I am interested to see where they take the characters because a lot of the time with like the first few issues of any comic series, you kind of run into this problem where they don't really know what they want to do with it yet. It's like a little bit more haphazard. I'm interested to see if this kind of comes into its own a little bit more in the second volume. This is also something that I could use for my Read Harder challenge. The Dracula one would work for this as well, but I'm planning on reading both, so it doesn't really matter. But this is a comic that is not from Marvel, DC, or Image Comics. This is from Dark Horse, which they actually have quite a few series that I really like. They also published Margaret Atwood's comic series, which is called Angel Catbird, which I also have and also recommend. Because again, I love Margaret Atwood. Also, it's a superhero that's like a bird, man, cat hybrid, and it's like kind of fucking terrifying, but kind of amazing. I feel like I should just like make a video about comics that I like because I'm like going on and on about these right now. And then the last challenge that they have is to read a book with orange and black on the cover. And Megan and Sue said this doesn't have to be a horror novel, but it can be if you want it to. And I am undecided on what book I'm gonna read for this. Why Girls Are Weird by Pamela Rybin. I found this at like a super discounted book sale, and it's like kind of a contemporary, but it has like this really intriguing, very strange cover. If I'm still feeling those horror vibes, I am going to reread This Book is Full of Spiders by David Wong because I got the third John Dies at the End book. It's like right behind me over here. You can see it. There she is. And I haven't read it yet because I wanted to kind of brush up on the rest of the series, but I love David Wong. I love the John Dies books. I also love his other book, which is called Futuristic Violence in Fancy Suits. Yeah, so that is my TBR for the Half-Halloween-A-Thon, and before that was my TBR for the Dewey's 24-hour readathon, and I'm going to be doing a lot of reading in the next week or so. If you guys want to see a video maybe about comics, let me know in the comments because I would absolutely talk about comics for an extended period of time, and I might even try to get my husband to throw some recommendations out there because he is like the master of picking comics for other people. If there's any other videos you'd like to see from me, let me know. If you're also doing either or both of these readathons, talk to me about it. We can commiserate about our poor life choices. And have a great day. Bye!